And good evening. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner here on the Highliner Activity Network, live here at the Highliner Activity Center. And we are going to kick things off with softball for Valley City Highliners. We've got coaches in the wings, but we're going to talk with one of the seniors on this year's squad, Dylan Deagle. Dylan, how you doing?
Pretty good.
I know you guys got 5 games in, but has this been frustrating kind of with all the cancellations and changes?
Very. It's hard to stay motivated, but we're trying.
We're trying. Get out there. And you and I think Emma Langham, so it's a young team this year. So have you two kind of taken that role as you're going to have to be the leaders for this group?
Yeah, it's very different than years past. We've kind of had a lot of seniors usually. This year, being there's only 2 of us and we have a lot of younger classmen, we've definitely had to take different roles.
I know back, I want to say when you were sophomore in 19, the team I think took 3rd in state. You were part of that group. And then 2020 kind of got washed up because of COVID. As a player, I haven't had a chance to talk to a player about it. Was it kind of disappointing, not only because the season got washed out, Dylan, but your guys are coming off a good year, and you had a lot of those players back, and it was going to be a fun year. Was that kind of disappointing for you guys?
Yeah, we had a lot of potential that year, so missing out on that was definitely hard.
So you kind of set the goal then for 2021. We're back. We're going to do it. And you had another good season.
We did. We were EDC champions.
And West Fargo, you beat West Fargo in the championship, and they've always been kind of that team. And you got a chance to beat them in the EDC championship. How good did that feel to get that?
It was crazy. It was a surreal experience. I think going into it, we all kind of knew that we had it in us. But at the same time, West Fargo has always had that name on their back with especially their coach. So to take that from them was crazy, especially all that we've been through last year.
Well, then you get into the state tournament and taking 4th if memory serves, losing to Dickinson in the semis. And then I think it was a tough 2-1 loss to Century in that 3rd place game. But did you still come out of there happy with the way the season went?
Yeah, I think all of us were happy. We were proud of ourselves. We had a great season with a great group of seniors that led us through it.
So now as that senior, now you're going to lead this young group. Any goals for you as a team or Dylan Deagle as you get ready for this year?
I think it's the same goal always. Like, we know that we can compete. We know that we're a good softball team. We've had a really good program. It's just we're young, so it's a growing year. But at the same time, we still want to be competitive at EDC, still go to state, still hold up to our reputation. We're telling our girls at practice right now that this is a program that they should be proud to be in. So we're hoping that that carries through.
And as you mentioned, the young team, are you taking that leadership role, that mama bear role, if you will? And a lot of these kids, well, they're kids to me, but you played with them in basketball and volleyball. So you know them, you know what they're capable of. Is that easier for you, knowing what they can do?
For sure. There's a few on the team that have been with me through a lot of other sports, and it's easy to be the mama bear to them, if you will, because I know how they respond best. Yeah. So it just kind of falls into place.
Well, now you got 2-3 record. I think Cheyenne's coming up here on Thursday. You guys just want to get out there and play. Enough of practice. Let's just start getting some games going. Is that kind of your mentality? Let's get rolling here.
Yeah, for sure.
I know last week you were at Morris at the tournament, and the weather wasn't conducive. It was a little windy, if memory serves. But you were just glad to be out on the field, weren't you? Mm-hmm. And now get going. EDC, you're going to be cramming a lot of games in here in the next, month? I think, before the season wraps up. Looking forward to it? Just cramming these games in now?
It's going to be kind of tough with, numbers, saving our pitchers. We have some young pitchers on our team, so they're taking new roles. So that's going to be, I think, difficult to change to. But at the same time, I think all of us are ready to start playing. We've got the work in and practice these last few weeks, and we're just ready to show what we have.
Get out there and get after it and defend that EDC title.
Yes, hopefully.
We'll get another banner thrown up on the ceiling that says EDC Champs. Well, Dylan, I appreciate you joining us here tonight, and look forward to talking to you as the season gets going. Well, it's gotten going. You got 5 games, but more games in, and get you on the show, and hopefully maybe we're talking another state tournament run when we get to the end of the month. So good luck to you, and congratulations on early success.
Thank you.
That is Dylan Deagle, one of the seniors on the Valley City Highliner softball team. We'll be back with more of our Coach's Corner here on the Highliner Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highliner Activity Network, continuing with the softball segment. And now we're joined by the coaching staff of the Highliner softball team, Hillary Flatt and Ryan LaRue. And I guess, Hillary, I'll start with you, and it's kind of the same question I asked Dylan. The frustration level is, I'm sure, rather high with the way this weather has not really been able to keep you consistent, has it?
Yeah, it's been really frustrating. I feel like there are some days where we're just kind of day to day. Like, we don't know if we're going to be inside. We don't know if we're going to be outside. It's just kind of hard to plan things.
And Ryan, I know as far as hitters are concerned, is it tough for hitters? I mean, you can be in the cage all you want, but you got to get out there and see live pitching. Is the inconsistency as far as games and being outside hurt the hitters?
I think so. I mean, I think it's they all want to get out there and swing the ball and see where it actually goes instead of hitting a net all the time. And the tough part about that is pitching can usually get ahead of this right now because their game doesn't change as much. But I think that's something that we saw in Morris, I guess. We saw some bats that were left on shoulders, and hopefully they come out and be a little more aggressive because they don't want to. We never know when we're back in the gym. I'll just put it that way.
Because you've got hitters. You know you've got the lineup where they can hit the ball, and I think it was a win over Wheaton Herman Norcross, lost to Paynesville, and lost to Morris Area. And you got out to a good start against Morris Area. So I think led early on 3-0. But do you feel you do have the offense, either one of you can answer this, the offense to go out there and put some runs on the board? Gil? Each point to one another.
Yeah.
I think we always have an opportunity. I feel like anytime we step on the field, there's an opportunity to be successful. But we are a younger group, as Dylan said earlier, and I just think we just don't have that aggressiveness just yet. And so just kind of hitting more and doing some things out there, I think not having games has kind of affected that a little bit.
And, of course, she mentioned the young pitching staff. You do have Otto McGough, Jr., that's going to be kind of the right there as your main starter, if you will. But behind that, there's a lot of youth, isn't there?
Yep. We have Sydney Larson right behind Autumn, and those two we kind of treat similarly, but Autumn has a little bit more experience, so she's kind of the go-to right now. But for the most part, it's just whoever's throwing better that day. That's kind of what we do.
Does and you can both answer this, but does the weather and the way things, I hate to harp on it, but the inconsistency, does that bother coaches more than the players or not?
Oh, I don't like being outside when it's cold. So, yeah, I mean, at least the girls are, like, playing. We just kind of stand there. So, I mean, I think that sucks. Like, the wind on Saturday was miserable.
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't fun. But, again, it was nice being outside, but the wind was not fun. So, I just don't like being out there.
Yeah, and it becomes a kind of a challenge to, like Dylan said, staying motivated, keeping these kids motivated. I mean, there's only so many times you can shag a fly ball in a 10-foot ceiling, you know.
Yeah.
We went out today and took some live fly balls, and you can see the difference. So we just want to get them out there. Of course, we want to stay warm doing it, but we'll just take anything at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not good for the body to be out in this either, is it?
Well, not for Ryan, not at this age. But
well,
no,
I mean, the age doesn't help, but
fair enough.
I shouldn't say that.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, it's a lot on the girls. I mean, you know, they have layers on. You know, usually they'll come in like sweatshirts and sweatpants, and obviously that's not the same as their game attire. So it's just kind of taxing. But again, if we can get outside, we try to take any opportunity with that.
And the bottom line too is you're not alone. All the teams are like this too. All teams are struggling getting games, and I think I looked on the EDC website, and there's some teams that haven't played yet, or they played one game or two games. So is that something too you're relaying to the players? We're not the only ones that aren't getting out on the field right now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we kind of talk about how we're all in the same boat and things like that, but we can only control what we can control, and we got to focus on what we're doing. You know, be mindful that other people are in the same situation, but again, we have to do what we need to do.
And Ryan, like you look at last year's team, you had 5 seniors on last year's team, so Emma and Dylan are seniors back, but you still have quite a few players that were still on the bench or there and part of that team last year. Does that help that you have a little bit of experience? You may not have the age, but there is some experience there?
Yeah, I mean, they got to work with those seniors and see how they do things, and you know, we've had, again, having Em and Dylan's huge because they've been in the program. They've been through the success. They've been through all that. We had Kinley and Bailey. They were kind of on that bench. And Autumn started for us last year, but she just didn't pitch as much.
Yeah.
She got to watch a Haley Schaefer throw, and that's a good thing. So,
yeah.
Again, you're right. It's nice to have that continuity, but this is the youngest group we've really seen come in and start for us. I mean, we've got 8th graders and 9th graders starting all over the place. So.
Well, and you talk about Emma, and Hillary, I can ask you this. Having your catcher back with a young pitching staff, how key is that?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, even when we had Jesse Undum, like I rely heavily on the catchers for that stuff because I wasn't a pitcher. I know some stuff, but I don't know all that. So usually at practice, Emma really just takes the reins on that. I'll kind of guideline for what we need to do, but Emma really steps up and helps them with that. And then the other thing is too, the girls help each other a lot. So like Autumn will help the younger girls, and they all kind of learn from each other, which is really nice.
And actually, Jessie Undum is going to be joining me on the Highlander TV Network when we do games, once we get going doing games.
Oh, nice.
She texted me last night. She said, our season's done this weekend. Here's when I'm available. So she's going to come back. And
awesome. That'd be great.
We'll have a former Highlander and current Dragon helping us out when we get some home softball games here. Come on, we want to get home.
Yeah.
Final question for both of you is, and I guess it's probably the same answer, is the expectations of this team. Is it just a game by game right now because of the youth? You're not going to be worrying about we want to win this, but let's worry about this game first, and then the next game, and then the next game. Is that kind of your philosophy?
You can go first.
Well, I think, I mean, when we had 5 seniors that were coming back and, you had, that COVID year, and everybody was just itching to play, and we felt pretty good about it. It was just getting on the field again. This year's something different, but they got to grow up real fast because with this condensed schedule, they're not going to have time to go through a week struggle or anything like that. And again, I think it's one of those things that having those 2 seniors around is going to help a ton. But, yeah, they're going to have to grow up real fast, and it's going to kind of be on the seniors and us to try and get them through that.
And that's got to be a good thing that they got to grow up fast, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it's all with how the individual responds to it, and you'll be able to tell a lot of different things about them when they respond to it.
Yeah, I don't think they'll have time to wallow in anything because they'll be right back on the field doing it again. And you hope muscle memory kicks in and confidence kicks in, and all those things add to, by the time we're actually playing in 70 degrees, these kids are feeling it and they know what they're doing. So.
All right, well, back at it tomorrow at taking on West Fargo Cheyenne tomorrow, and I think you're playing at the West Fargo Fields, but you're playing. You're on the field, you're back, and this will be, well, it's not the EDC opener. Yeah, it is the EDC opener. Yeah. That's right, because the other game was Bismarck Legacy were the other 2 games prior to this tournament. So just getting an EDC game and getting going, the players and yourselves got to be excited about doing this.
Yeah, it's nice to just kind of get back into the rhythm and routine with everything, so that'll be nice.
All right, well, coaches, I appreciate you stopping by and joining us here again on Coach's Corner. And again, as we start getting the games in and more consistency, we'll have you on again next week. Hillary, Ryan, thanks very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks, Paul.
Hillary Flatt, Ryan LaRue, coaching staff for the Valley City Highlander softball team, back with more Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network. And before we get into our next segment, again, just a reminder, we do have that video lag. So if you're watching here live on playsite.com, that audio is a little bit behind the video. But then later on, when we have it on our YouTube channel, it'll be all synced up and things will be back to normal. But again, if you're watching us live right now, that audio is a little bit behind the video here on playsite.com. But now we are going to go to gymnastics as our next topic, and it's a three-peat now. She's been on 3. We're going to have to change the show name to the Abby Thornton Show. But Abby Thornton joining us. Abby, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. I mean, it's been an interesting month. You turn 17. You have all these meets that have been going on. But first off, congratulations on a very good Region 4 competition.
Thank you.
Second in the all-around.
Yep.
And won the vault with a 9-3. I guess the first question, there's a couple, 2-3 questions that come to mind. Like question number 1, when did you feel or know that vault was going to be the top one?
Well, I'm like one of the only level 9s that do a layout Yurchenko. So I am starting at a higher score than them because it is more difficult than the rest of them. And then every time I know that I land it, I know I'm going to get a pretty good score because I don't often change anything in between it. So as long as I'm landing it and getting like one step, I know that it's going to be a pretty good score. It's still not the best. I think my one at state was better than that, but it was good enough to get first.
Yeah, 9.5. A 9.525 at state.
Yeah.
And a 9.3 here at the regional down in Minneapolis. Did you change it at all, or was it the same routine?
No, it's the same.
Pretty much the same one?
Yeah.
Hey, you're not going to change it 9.52, 9.525. You're not going to change it.
We tried to like fix a couple things in it, but other than that, it was the exact same that I did at state.
Yep. Now, I know when you came off state, you had an 815 on the beam, and I think you had mentioned last time you're on, that's the one event you really needed to clean up. 8925 or something like
895, yeah.
895 on the beam. What was the difference?
Well, one thing was confidence. I added a back tuck into my routine, which made me start at a higher start value. And I think the 4 weeks between state and regionals, I put so much time and effort into beam, particularly because that was where I was struggling. That's where I was the weakest. And I just think that being stronger and tighter was one of the things that I focused on a lot, and that's what I did. We took out the things that was going to take away the score the most. So I think we just cleaned up, gained more confidence, and then it was good from there.
35-6, I think, was your all-around. 1 point behind, I believe her name was Catherine Denny out of Missouri, I think was the overall champ. Did you watch any of her routines at
No,
all?
I didn't even know who she was.
And is that on purpose?
No, we separated into different squads, so we weren't with the same people that like was in your group, that like ranking kind of like. So there was only one other girl that was in the same division as I was, so I didn't really know anybody. I didn't know who they were. Like, they're from forever away, so I didn't know who they were. I only knew Amy that was in there, and then one other girl from Minnesota that I practiced with one time.
But is that, though, in this competition where it is, you have to stay focused? You're not going to be because you can't control what they do.
Right.
You can control what Abby Thornton does, and that's it.
Yeah, and there's so much more time in between everything, because there's so many more girls, and it's just, there's a lot going on, because there's a whole nother side that was going at the same time as you. You just have to make sure you stay focused, because you could get distracted really easily, and then you're just going to be out of your head.
And you mentioned Amy Fridley out of Dickinson, I think was 5th in the all-around. And it really shows how the scoring is a lot tougher in this.
Yeah.
And, I mean, she probably, stuff that you do in the USAG, and you probably win state every year with the stuff that you do on that, isn't it? I mean,
my beam score would have been a lot higher in high school.
Yeah.
But
well, now it's on to Salt Lake City, Utah, May 5th through the 8th for the West Regional. Are you going to take some downtime? Because I know after state you took a few days off before you got ready for the Region 4. Are you doing the same thing, or are you getting right back at it?
No, I went again on Monday.
You turn around right back on Monday.
I had the choice to take Monday off, but I decided to go so I could take Friday off, meaning it's like prom, but that's not that big of a deal. I just think that a little bit of a break. It's only one day, but I don't have that much time because we're leaving next Tuesday.
Okay.
So then I'm off. I'll practice Tuesday, but I'm off Wednesday, and then there's a practice in Utah on Thursday, and then I'm off Friday, Saturday, and then I compete Sunday.
So how about when you look at your routines? Are you tweaking it all? Is it just more fine-tuning what you've already done?
Yeah, we're just fine-tuning. We're not adding a whole lot of stuff in there. I took out some things that were pointless to do, and they were causing me more deductions. Other than that, we're just making sure I'm strong, pointed toes, straight legs, just hitting all the handstands I need to, and minimizing the amount of steps on every dismount and landing.
What are you? Do you have like mixed feelings? Is there nerves, excitement? What kind of feelings are you going through right now?
I'm kind of mostly excited for Utah right now because it's not going to be stressful. Just because it's like I can't go anywhere from here. I don't have to qualify for anything.
Okay.
And I can kind of just feel like I can go out there and just do my thing, and I don't have to stress about making sure that I'm perfect. I want to be perfect, but I don't have to stress over it.
Okay.
I'll be nervous when it gets there, though.
Yep.
I already know that.
You get there and same thing. And one thing I haven't mentioned, you are the first from Valley Twisters Gymnastics to get this far.
Yep.
When did you know that? When you got home?
Yeah. Well, my dad was trying to figure it out on the way home because he still is in contact with our old coach sometimes. He had asked her, and she said, "No, I'm the closest by far to get there." So,
a lot to hang your hat on.
Yeah.
And is there a sense of pride too for you, Abby, that you're not just representing Valley City, the gym and the gymnastics club, and so that's got to be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, I think it's really nice because we were on a little bit of a downfall with all the coach changes and everything.
yeah.
And I just think that having one person get up there and do big things and show who we really are, I think it'll be better for when the younger ones come up because we have a lot of really good ones that will come up. Jay Pochat, she's a 5th grader. She's really good. She has improved a lot, and she's only been in it for like a year.
Okay. Well, they always say success breeds success.
Yeah.
So you get those youngins in the gym that see what Abby Thornton's doing, read about her in the papers, see her online. They're like, I'd like to do that.
Yeah, Maddie's close behind me too.
Okay.
So.
Maddie Wendell.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, congratulations. It's
Thank you.
I know it's not quite over yet. And again, now we were going to have you on the May 11th show, but we're going to save it, and we'll have you on, give you a little week time after the regional. But regardless of the outcome, we'd like to have you on one more time and just get your thoughts on the West Regional.
Okay.
So I appreciate you coming in. Again, congratulations on the success.
Thank you.
That is Abby Thornton from Valley Gymnastics. Coach John Tobler is going to be joining us here. We're going to talk more about Abby and what she has been doing with Coach Tobler. That's coming up as Coach's Corner continues on the Highlander Activity Network. Back on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network. And again, a reminder, if you are watching us live here, thank you for joining us first off here on as we're winding down. Just a handful of shows left to go in 2022. But again, if you're watching us live on playsite.com, a little bit of a lag. That audio is behind the video, so we do have that lag. But once you watch it on YouTube, when it's archived on our YouTube channel, it'll be all synced up and together, and it'll be as normal as I can be when I'm talking. But again, you got a little bit of an audio lag if you're watching us live. Staying on the gymnastics trail, Valley Twisters Gymnastics, and Johnny Tobler joining us, the director of the gym and Valley Twisters Gymnastics. How you doing?
Hey, doing well. Doing well. Spring's coming.
It's here. It's
Excited.
coming.
Yeah,
it's coming.
You got that, feel to it. So, I mean, we could get another blizzard, but
Stop it.
it'll come regardless, right?
Yeah, we're not going to be able to stop it.
Yeah.
But speaking of blizzards, Abby Thornton has just been a blizzard herself on the in competition here with the state and then the Region 4, now going on to the West Regional. I guess first question for you, John, did you feel that she had this in her?
Yeah, well, 100%. I mean, I knew she was able to do it. I knew she was able to score what she scored and knew that, if she hit all 4 and did what she did, that was going to put her to Westerns, no doubt. So, yeah, I knew it all along. And, yeah, it's just amazing. We just keep moving, So it's hard at this point in the season, the way it's prolonged, right? So we go on another month and then another 2 weeks. And, then, it's tough to really – both for understanding how to train and for the athlete to keep that motivation and keep on pushing and being determined to get to the next level. So it's been remarkable. She just keeps going up and up and up. So
Abby has mentioned it to me. I think you mentioned it, but she's mentioned it a couple times on the show, how the scoring is so much different and harder than it is at the high school level here in a USAG. Is maybe the reasoning behind it is because they're really trying to get these athletes ready for that next level for a college and beyond?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You can also say that because North Dakota doesn't have or hasn't at least, in the past had the kind of gymnastics that we're seeing being produced today, that the scoring hasn't been as tough because as a judge, if I'm going through all this work to become a certified judge, you're learning a new language. It's not easy stuff. So if I'm a judge and I'm doing all that, I'm going to want to at some point in time be able to flash some scores like a 9, 9-3, 9-4, 9-5, 9-7, 9-8, 9-9. And I think that's why it seems the way it is. So it's not necessarily that the high school rules are not as tough. I mean, if you go to Minnesota, you'll really feel that, right? Minnesota High School Association, which has the same rule book, they're tough, they're tight, just like you see in USAG. So I would say, yes, to answer your question, it is because they're prepping them and pushing them towards the collegiate level. But also in North Dakota, we just don't have the, numbers for the judges to be able to see something and really crack down and be tough. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be enjoyable, if all they're throwing out is 8s. So
The sample size is a lot less.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
In North Dakota. Well, and now you look at Abby, and you look at it first what she did at the state. At the state, and the one event that I want to touch on is the beam. She had an 8.15, I think, at the state tournament, or at the state competition, and she had said, that's when I got to clean up if I'm going to, do well and move on to the West Region. Well, 8.95. Mm-hmm. What did she do differently at the West Regional, or at the Region 4?
Yeah. Well, we've been putting in work, so that's where a lot of our time has been spent, and we've got the reps in for sure between state and regionals. We had a month, and we put in a lot of work. So it's just a result of her putting all that work in and going out there and then hitting a routine, a perfect routine that we hadn't even seen in practice. So we were all kind of shocked, but in a happy way. So yeah, so that's it. It's just repetitions, focusing on little details here and there, and she was able to put it together. It was pretty exciting. And
as I mentioned, that Catherine Denny, I believe, is a young lady from Missouri that was first in the Region 4, and Abby said, I don't even know who she was. Is that something too that you're not worrying about that other competition, the other girls that are out there? You're just doing what you got to do and not worrying about what they're doing.
Yeah, there's there are certain age groups and not brackets, but there are certain groups, because you have level 9,
like a divisions.
Yeah, like divisions. You have senior level, or senior 7, senior 8, right? Those are two different groups of 7 athletes. There are certain ones that are tighter and that you're familiar with your competition, and you might be thinking about that.
Okay.
With ours, it was kind of, for us and the TNT team from Fargo and Amy from Dickinson, they're all kind of like in it together, so they're, we're not to the point yet where they would really be competitors at this point. We're just out there, want to seeing each other do well. Mm-hmm. And then, we were really unfamiliar with who else was in the division, so it really wasn't that much, but there were divisions where kids were scoring 37s and weren't making it to regionals that were a lot tighter, and I'm sure there's a lot more watching going on. So can you imagine, scoring a 37 and then looking at the board and thinking, I'm in 8th place,
Yep.
And you got the top 4 at 38 plus. So, yeah, so it's, I would say just depends on what division you fall in. You could fall in a really easy division. You could fall in a tough division. We kind of fell in a, one that was probably in the, middle of the road. So, yeah.
Well, of course, at the Region 4, it was Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, Missouri, Nebraska, if memory serves, the states. Now this is the West Regional going to Utah. So you're going to be adding, I'm sure, California and a handful of more states. But like Abby said, there's nothing past this. This is as far as you can go. Mm-hmm. Is this more relaxed competition than it would be at, say, the Region 4?
No, it shouldn't be.
Okay.
I think for us it maybe is because we're just so excited to be here for the first time. For other kids, it's not going to be. They've maybe been there before and, come up short, come up second place or whatever. So this will be the high of the high, and that's so it should be kids out there, with probably the most nerves, on ordinarily, right? Mm-hmm. But then again, you have first-time Westerners that, are just going to be happy to be there.
Yeah.
So, you don't want to have that relaxed mentality because we still want to put in the work this next couple of weeks and go and do well and see where she can fall, I mean, who knows with her vault, she might be able to take vaults. I don't know what kind of vaults we'll be looking at. We'll find out, but I mean, she's got the potential to win vault. That would be huge. She's got the potential to place high. So no idea, what the high scores are in her age group and division, what that's going to look like. You're assuming there's going to be some 38s, 37s. So we just got to put in the work, improve in areas that we can. For me, it just takes some wisdom in knowing what to leave alone and what to, try to add, if anything. And, go out there and just, the goal is just to try to jump up one more time.
Final question, when you look at a competition like this at the West Regional, is this one where you're thinking there might be some college scouts there? There might be there's college scouts, I guess, at the basis of my question, that might be recruiting and just looking to see what's out there.
Yeah, they'll be there. They'll be watching. So, I mean, most of them are going to be, spending their time and energy at, level 10 nationals next week, but there certainly will be scouts there looking at, Abby doesn't have anybody looking at her now, but there'll be scouts that are looking at other people, and, something might catch their eye.
Yeah.
So, we don't know for Abby, that's her goal, and, we just got to put in the work these next, whatever we have, a little less than 2 weeks, and outwork your competition. For her, right now there's probably not scouting going on, but between now and next year, the picture I've drawn for her is that if this is the school you want to go to, there are, let's say, 600 other athletes that are ahead of you at this point.
Right.
Between now and then, you're trying to outwork them, and you're trying to leapfrog athletes. So by the end of, halfway through summer, let's say you've leapfrogged 100 or 200. And then when we get to the end of summer, you've leapfrogged, another 200, and you got 200 to go. And then in the middle of the season, you're working hard. You're trying to have that picture in your head that I need to outwork every single one of these kids. The story my dad would always tell at the gym is between two guys trying to win the highest academic award. What's that called again? At college, anyways.
Yeah. I'm not an academic person, so.
So they're trying. Anyways, these two guys are trying to be at the top of their class, right?
Right.
And their dorms are across from each other, and they're up studying late, and he can see his lights on and his lights on, right? And they're working and working and working, and all of a sudden this light goes out. So this guy sees it, and he goes, "Okay, I'm gonna stay up for 10 more minutes," right?
Yeah.
And so he stays up for 10 minutes and shuts his light off. All the while, he didn't know that this guy was in his dorm underneath his blanket with a flashlight studying. And as soon as he sees this one goes out, he turns it back on, studies for another hour, right? Who wins? It's this guy over here, right?
Sure.
So the idea is you got to, even though for her she can't see her competition,
right,
she has to have that imagination and outwork everybody, double whatever you're doing. So that's where we're at. And it starts today. It starts tomorrow,
And it's just exciting that she's the first from Valley Twisters to get this far.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just, it's amazing what we've done, this year as a club is just, it's super exciting, and it just keeps going up. And I should take some time to celebrate and enjoy it and relax a little bit, but we're obviously, as you could just see, we're already thinking about what's next, and keep pushing, keep grinding. So.
Well, it's been fun keeping an eye on her, and I guess we got another week or two, and we'll see what happens in Utah. But again, John, we appreciate you stopping by. Congratulations on the success and continued success with the Valley Twisters Gymnastics. And again, if anybody wants to get their boy or girl involved in gymnastics, give you a call, come over to the gym, and you're ready to talk with them.
Absolutely, yep. Come on in and get them in there, if not just for, the sake of, further developing those fine-tuned motor skills, get in there. It's going to help out with whatever you do, whether it's boys in a ninja class or girl in a, a beginner gymnastics class. You're going to be improved. You're going to be bettered by it, even if you don't go on to become a competitive athlete.
And just, I'm thinking Abby probably started there.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Just a little tyke in, your mom and me class or whatever you call it. You know? So, yeah.
All right. Well, John, again, thanks for stopping in. Congratulations on everything so far. We look forward to talking to you when we get back from Utah.
You bet.
As Coach Johnny Tobler joining us from the Highlander Valley City Twisters Gymnastics. We've got track and field coming up next on the Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network. And again, just a reminder, if you're watching us live on playsite.com, we do have a little bit of that lag. We have that lag going on, so the audio is behind the video. So it's not your TV, it's not your device. It is, I don't know why I said TV. Maybe I think you're on TV, but it's not your device. It is what's going on with our playsite.com. But if you watch it again on YouTube a little bit later on, we'll be all synced up after we get it archived on our YouTube channel. So again, there is that audio lag a little bit behind. The audio is behind the video. Speaking of being behind, there's a lot of people behind our next guest in the 800 here. Last week, Greta Govind joining us. Greta, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fantastic. The sun's shining.
Yes, yes.
And, of course, with track and you run, you can go outside anytime, but would you rather run in this kind of weather?
Yes, we actually got to practice at the track today, which is nice.
Which is good, very nice. Well, I know last week you're at Fargo South had, I think that might have been you did have one triangular here with the outdoor meet, but you're at Fargo South, and I believe the 800 and 3200 you won. But the 800 you qualified for state, so congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Have you? I didn't get a chance to look. Have you qualified for state before in the 800?
Yes, I did last year.
Last year as an 8th grader.
Yeah.
So that kind of was your goal going into this year too? You wanted to make it.
I didn't want to go downhill.
Yeah, take a step back.
Yeah.
Well, I know also, I think, was it in the indoor season, I think you set a freshman record. That had been, 37 years or something? I don't know. Is it different indoor, outdoor? Is there a difference running?
It is. I mean, they say times are slower because of like the curves and stuff, and it's just a lot like drier indoor too. But you also don't have to worry about wind or it being too cold. Like,
Yep.
So I'd say, I mean, it's a little easier because especially this spring, how cold it is.
Right.
I think you don't have to worry as much about staying warm and like all that stuff.
Right. Do you wear with a stocking cap?
No, I don't run with a stocking cap.
I suppose that'd be wind resistance, wouldn't it?
Yep.
That would pull you back. Do you run the 1600 as well?
I do. I run the 1600 and the 3200 and the 400.
Now, for people that are wondering what these all go by, 3200 I believe is 2 miles.
Yep.
So 1600 is a mile, the 800 is a half mile, then you have the quarter miles, the 400. Any event you like better than the other?
Well, I like the 800 the best, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that 4 times around?
2 times
That's
around.
2 times. It's
Yep.
a 400 meter track, so that's two times around.
Yep.
Okay. You're a distance runner, though. I mean, cross country, and you were all state this past fall in cross country. How about, we talked about the 800 as your favorite. Do you feel, though, there is one event you're better than, or is 800 your best?
I'd say the 800 is my best just because there's a lot of good cross country like runners around, and the 2 mile, like the 32, it's not my favorite either. So, yeah, I think the 800's my best, I'd say.
How would you describe your running style? Are you a strong start, slow finish, slow start, strong finish? How would you describe your running style?
Well, so normally I try to like pace myself with other people because I've only, like last year was we didn't have it 7th grade year, so I'm still kind of working into the pacing and stuff. But I'd say I try to keep it pretty even for like in the 800 for both my laps, but my first lap is normally the faster of the two. But most of the time, if I know the relative time of the a person I'm racing, I'll try to like base myself off of them sometimes. So yeah.
We mentioned, you've qualified for state in the 800. Are you going to get some other opportunities to qualify in the other ones?
Oh, I hope so. The weather turns around a little bit, but yeah.
Cross our fingers.
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming there's a state qualifying time.
There is, yep.
It's not where you finish in a race, it's an actual time. Was that a personal best that you had or not?
It wasn't, no. My PR was what I ran at state last year, so this wasn't it, no. But
So there's still room for improvement?
Yes.
What do you feel you need to do differently to maybe to get that extra kick? Is there anything in particular?
I don't know. I feel like I just need to put a little more mileage on because my second lap is my slower of the two, so if I can just get a little stronger in that one.
Get the stronger legs going into that final kick. Have you ever found yourself where you had to sprint maybe the last 100 yards or 100 meters?
I mean, I like to think I was sprinting. It probably didn't look like that, and I definitely wasn't. But I try to sprint at the end because I've been where you miss it by just a second or two, and that's annoying. So
it's frustrating.
Yep.
Now I think you're going to be in Fargo tomorrow, right?
On Friday
on
we're
Friday?
supposed to be. Yep.
Hopefully get another one in, but again, rain is a possibility. How frustrating is that, Greta, for you, just as an athlete? You have a meet coming up, and then all of a sudden, a day before, it gets canceled. Or how frustrating is that for you guys?
It's frustrating just because you spent this much time preparing for it, and throughout the whole week and all these hard workouts, and that's what's keeping you motivated. And then it's just like, oh, actually we can't have it anymore. And then it's just like more practice, and practices get long after you do them for a while.
You want to compete.
Yes.
You want to get out there and see other uniforms and other people and get out there and compete. Well, again, Greta, I appreciate you stopping in. Congratulations on qualifying in the 800. But now you got a few more.
Yeah.
You got 3 more events we'd like to see you qualify in, and no pressure. No
Oh,
pressure.
yeah.
But again, congratulations on the success, and good luck here. Hopefully you get a median on Friday, and we'll see how you do there.
Yep.
So thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet. That is Greta Govind, freshman from the Valley City Highlander track team. Back with more Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network, and again, just that gentle reminder, we do have that audio lag that is behind our video if you're watching us live right now on playsite.com, but it does get rectified and is cleaned up when you get a chance to watch us on YouTube. So again, if you just want to know where you can find us, again, just go to highlanders.org. There's a little live icon up at the top of the picture. You click on that, and then, as I like to say, it takes like you to a TV guide, a list of all of our channels, and the Go camera is the one you want to watch this live, and then we also have a link to our YouTube channel, and you can watch past events, whether it's this show or any of our sporting events that we've had. Just go to highliners.org. But again, that audio lag is a little bit behind, but we'll get that. It's rectified when you get a chance to watch it on YouTube. Well, now we're going to talk tennis, and Matt Nielsen joining us from the Highlander tennis team. Matt, how you doing?
Doing well tonight, thank you.
Well, I bet tonight you're wishing you could be out there playing.
Well, yeah, yesterday we had a postponement against Fargo North because it was 38 degrees out with a 28-degree wind chill, and we actually went outside and we said we're going to practice for 1 hour outside, and then we'll go inside and lift and condition. And in that 1 hour, our fingers it was tough to hold onto the racket. So I'm like, we were like looking at that. We were glad that we canceled that match because it was rough for just that 1 hour. And a match usually takes about 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then today we were outside playing, had a full 2 hour practice, and everybody dressed appropriately, and we had a great practice going into these next couple matches.
Well, you got one match under your belt so far this year, West Fargo, and I believe 9-0, the final against the Packers. Were you obviously you win and you like 9-0, but were you overall pleased with the performance in that first match?
We've only been outside 3 times, so I was very pleased with everyone, and I think we got a good doubles lineup right now. We had Breck and Olivia were all-state last year, and they're number 1 up top. And we went with Abby Martinick and Abby Redfern at 2. And they actually had a pretty tough match at 2 because West Fargo dropped their number 1 player to 2 doubles to kind of even them up.
Okay.
So, it was pretty much a walk in the park for Breck and Olivia, but then it made it a tough match for Abby and Abby. And they got down 4-3 in the first set, came back, won it, and then kind of cruised in that second set to win all 3 doubles. And then down in 3 doubles, we had my daughter Kaylee Nielsen, and then you have Georgia Zahn. Georgia played a lot of singles for us last year at the 6th spot, the bottom spot, and didn't play much doubles, so this was her first big varsity experience really in the doubles, and performed very well, looked really good at the net. And then we went into singles, and our bottom 3, 4, 5, 6 just cruised. It was a lot of fun to see them just figuring out how to win points and how to play their opponent. And then at 1 and 2 singles, Reet Goyle from West Fargo, she's a good player, and Breck was having trouble with her, lost the first set, but in the second set, Breck settled in and played more consistent and picked and chose. She chose where to hit her shots,
okay,
and not just let's smack everything. Let's pick and choose where we can go for our big shots. And she ended up pulling that out in a super tie break. And then a big one at number 2 is Olivia. She lost the first set, a little flustered. Last year she was injured, so she didn't play. She played 1 full singles match all last year.
Okay.
Other than that, just played doubles. So I think in that first set she kind of felt like a fish out of water a little bit, but she really settled in, played consistent in that second set, won that, and in the super tie break got down 8-4 in a race to 10. And then she shed the pressure and just played loose, won 6 points in a row to win the match and win 10-8. So that was a lot of fun, and her teammates were there to watch her and cheer her on. So it was a great team first match, and it's going to propel us into these next 2.
When you look at your lineup, Matt, we talked about, a lot of these young ladies played last year. You only graduated, I think, 1 senior last year in Macy, or Lacey. Macy. I was right the first time. Never correct yourself, Paul. But do you see this group having a high tennis IQ?
They're getting smarter and smarter all the time, and they take coaching very well. So we're working doubles positioning, and it makes sense. And like today, I was going to stop a drill, and right when I was ready to stop it, Olivia was the one that was in the wrong spot. And before I said anything, she said, "I should have been there. My bad." And I'm like, "Perfect. You were in the right spot." When you make a mistake, you know where you should have been. So I mean, their knowledge of the game is really increasing. Today we worked a lot of singles point strategy, and the kids just latch onto it, and understanding of how and why you need to move around, and how to open up the court. Like if someone has a bad backhand, you can't just hit to their backhand because they'll run around it. You got to open it up by go to their forehand side first, take a step in, now go to the backhand, and now you have them sunk if they have a weak stroke. So they're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And then we did some drills, and they're executing. So they're a very coachable group, and once they learn something, their tennis IQ keeps going up, and I'm excited to see how far these kids can increase their skill and their ability and their IQ.
Well, because as a coach, you have to rely on them, that they've got to figure things out themselves, because you can't sit there between sets. You might be able to get a chance to go in and coach them a little bit before they go on in that particular match, but you might be watching another match altogether, and they're on their own.
And that's really tough too. With and I'm so blessed to have a fantastic assistant coaching staff. So we have Sarah Aberley and Hannah Aberley that are the JV and the junior high coaches, and they do a very good job with those younger kids. But then we have 3 volunteer coaches that are very knowledgeable. Eric and Susan Kringley, they are North Dakota Tennis Hall of Famers. Susan Kringley is a state champion in doubles. And then we have Jamie Laframboise, who moved up here from Oklahoma. Wife works at the college. Great couple of people, and he loves tennis. And he said, "How can I volunteer?" So we got him up at volunteering. So it's unreal that we have our varsity team, and some days we have 3 adults who understand the game coaching at the same time, so that way every kid's getting individualized attention. So I mean, our coaching staff, the volunteer time that they put in is awesome, and it pays off dividends for those kids, and we have so much fun, and the improvement is amazing. So I couldn't do what I'm doing without our volunteer assistant coaches.
Well, you're JV and you're junior high. That's your future.
Yep.
So you need to have those solid coaches to help them at that level, because they're going to be up on the varsity level.
Yep. And Hannah and Sarah do a great job with them. I come down there and coach once in a while, and we have the same philosophy through. So the whole program, 7 through 12, runs on the same philosophy. So every time when someone comes up, they already know what's going on. So it's a good atmosphere.
The foundation is set.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we talked about this with softball and really any sport that we talk about right now because of the weather. Have you impressed upon your athletes? We're not alone. Everybody's going through this.
Well, with the weather, everybody is. But I told them about the flood of 2009. We basically had our first 2 weeks of tennis practice, and then we had 2 weeks off of school. And after that 2 weeks off, so we didn't do any tennis practice, any playing, we still got every EDC match in. So when they're like, "Oh my gosh, we are 2 matches behind," I go, "Relax. Yeah. We're going to get them all in. We'll figure it out. It's okay. You just have to be very flexible. We might have to go back-to-backs. We might have to have 4 matches in a week, but we will get all of our EDC in. It's okay. It's fine.
Trust me.
Trust me. Been there, done that."
Yeah, and it starts with Davies. That's next
yep.
on the schedule.
So we got Davies tomorrow. They were the EDC champs last season, and they didn't graduate anybody. So they are going to be a very tough test. And I told the kids, I go, "You know what? We're probably only going to be truly underdogs twice in the EDC season. I think Cheyenne were an underdog and Davies were an underdog. So I go, on those ones, we got to be trying things. We got to be just playing loose, and we have nothing to lose on those ones. And then everybody else in the EDC, we should be right there with them. That we might win 6-3, we might lose 6-3. Probably depends on the day. And on those days, even though we might not be the underdog, we have to play like the underdog. Okay. You have to play loose. You got to play like there's nothing to lose, and just go out and play your game instead of tightening up and go, "I should beat this person." Yeah. No, we focus. No, you just play that point to the best of your ability, 100% effort, and then you forget about that one and you play the next one.
Is that a barometer type match where you can see where you're at playing someone like a Davies?
It's going to be, and I think one thing that every team can do this is improve their consistency. So I think tomorrow is going to be a good. It's going to be a good tell is are we consistent enough to hang with the big dogs? Because if we are the ones that hit the ball out, Davies is good enough to be like, "Oh, you're going to hit the ball out? all we're going to do is hit the ball in and they'll take advantage of it. So you're right. It's going to be a barometer. Are we a consistent enough team to hang around a really, really good team in Davies?
It'll be a confidence boost, too, if you can.
If we can hang around, I agree. And I believe that we will hang around in most matches. And I told Paul Colzar is their coach. He's a great guy. And I go, man, it would just be amazing if we just had like 2 matches out there. And if those 2 matches would be the decider, I go, that would be amazing. He goes, I hope that's not going to happen. He's hoping he's going to have it clinched with 2 matches left. But it would be pretty awesome if we had 2 matches out there and it was still in the balance tomorrow.
Final question for you, Matt. When you look at tennis and you got outside today and had a good practice today, but is tennis that one of those sports that you've got to be outside? You can't do it in a gym or up against a wall. You've got to be outside. And
it's always better outside. Yeah. But I've been very happy with the improvement. We've been at the rec center, working in the rec center, and the kids give it their all. And we're working some volley, and we're working some strategy and some technique. And they're doing very well doing that. We're doing a lot of conditioning in the weight room, and more so because we have been inside. So I think their kids are getting a lot stronger. But yeah, we've been to Jamestown several times because they have an indoor tennis court there. So we've done that. And then, like I said, we were out there yesterday in that brutal cold just to be outside. But it is what you make of it, and I don't think the kids have had a positive attitude all the time. They haven't been like, oh my gosh, inside again. I haven't got any of that. They're like, hey, it is what it is, and they've been rolling with the punches, which that shows you that they're all in with the team. They're all in with how the coaches are doing it, and they're here to have fun. They're here to be part of a team. They're here to play tennis, and I couldn't ask for more.
After COVID-19, this is nothing.
It's at least we got a season.
Yeah, at least you're out there competing. Well, Matt, again, appreciate the time. We look forward to chatting again next week after we get a couple more matches under our belt and see how the progression of this tennis team.
It should be good because by next season or next week on this day, we'll have hopefully three matches, depending on the weather, but hopefully 3 matches, and they're all away. So we'll see if I can be awake for this on Wednesday night after 3 away matches in 5 days.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Matt, thanks again.
All right, thank you.
You bet. Matt Nielsen joining us from the Valley City Highlander tennis team. We'll be back and wrap things up on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on the Highlander Activity Network and Coach's Corner. And again, a reminder, if you're watching us live right now on playsite.com, a little bit of that audio lag. The audio is behind the video just a little bit. But again, when you watch it, after we archive it on YouTube, it's all synced up and everything is together. Again, just a reminder, what's coming up on the Highlander Activity Network. Prom. It is prom weekend, and Saturday here at the Hack, 7 o'clock, Grand March. And you can watch the Grand March here on the Highlander Activity Network. And again, a reminder how you can find that. Just go to highliners.org, lowercase highliners.org, and right below the picture up at the top of the page, you'll see a little button that says Live. You click on Live, and then that'll take you to all of the channels that we have. And you want the Go camera or the Go channel, and you'll click on that, and that will take you live to the Grand March, again, 7 o'clock Saturday night here at the Hack, and that will be our next broadcast. As far as sports, well, it's kind of a wait and see. We'll get into next week and see what's coming up as far as the sports. Just check it out, and, of course, we'll have Coach's Corner next Wednesday night. And we'll keep you updated on what's going on the Highlander Activity Network. It is a fluid situation right now with sports, with weather and everything that's going on. So just be patient. We'll keep you updated on what's going on with sports. But I wanted to thank all of our guests here this evening, Dylan Deagle, Ryan LaRue, Hillary Flatt from softball, also Abby Thornton and John Tobler from the Valley Twisters Gymnastics, and Greta Govind from the Highlander track, and Matt Nielsen from the Highlander tennis team for joining us here on a great show tonight here on our Coach's Corner. Of course, Jaden Johnson, our cameraman and technical director, and for you joining us each and every Wednesday night. So we'll be back again next Wednesday, 6 o'clock, for another edition of Coach's Corner here on the Highlander Activity Network.